There comes a moment in life when a person becomes tired not physically, but mentally tired of repeating the same days, the same excuses, the same disappointments. Wake up with ideas, but go to sleep with regret. You promise change, but return to old habits. You dream of a better life, but stay in the same place. This is not because you are weak. This is because you have never given yourself a real structured period of focused change. Most people wait for the perfect time. They wait for motivation. They wait for support. They wait for life to become easier. But life does not wait. Truth is simple and direct. Change does not happen when you feel ready. Change happens when you decide and commit. 6 months is not a long time in the scale of life, but it is long enough to completely shift your direction. In 6 months, you can rebuild your mindset. In 6 months, you can develop discipline. In 6 months, you can learn skills that open new doors. In 6 months, you can become unrecognizable to the person you are today, but only if those 6 months are intentional. This is not about temporary motivation. This is not about quick success. This is not about shortcuts. This is about reality. You will face discomfort. You will feel resistance. You will doubt yourself. You will want to quit, and that is exactly why most people never change. They stop when it becomes difficult. This journey is different. This journey demands honesty. It demands responsibility. It demands effort every single day. There will be no perfect conditions. There will be no constant motivation. There will only be your decision to continue. Think about where you are right now. Your habits, your routine, your mindset, your results. Everything you see in your life today is a reflection of what you have been doing consistently. If nothing changes, then nothing will change. But if you take control of the next 6 months with focus and discipline, your future can shift in ways you cannot imagine right now. This is not a promise of an easy path. This is a challenge. Give yourself 6 months, not casually, not half-heartedly, but fully committed. 6 months of focused effort can break years of stagnations. 6 months of discipline can build a lifetime of confidence. 6 months of consistency can create opportunities that once felt impossible. This is your starting point. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, the next 6 months will pass anyway. The only question is, will you remain the same, or will you change everything? Chapter 1. The truth most people avoid. There is a truth that most people feel, but do not accept. It is not hidden. It is not complicated. It is simply uncomfortably. Your life right now is a direct reflection of your daily actions, your repeated habits, and your choices over time. Not luck, not fate, not other people. This idea is difficult because it removes all excuses. It places responsibility entirely in your hands. Many people spend years blaming circumstances. They blame where they were born. They blame lack of money. They blame lack of support. They blame bad timing. And while these challenges are real, they are not the full story too. People can start in the same place and end up in completely different situations. Difference is not always intelligence or opportunity. The difference is what they choose to do daily. A young man once worked at a small shop in a quiet town. Every day he complained about his situation. He said he had no opportunities. He said people like him could never succeed. After work, he would sit for hours doing nothing meaningful, watching videos, talking aimlessly, and waiting for life to change. One day, an older customer noticed his frustration and asked him a simple question. Your life does not change in the next 5 years. What will be the reason? The young man immediately answered, because I have no chances. Older man smiled and said, or because you never used the chances you already had. That sentence stayed in his mind. For the first time he looked at his life honestly, he realized he had time but wasted it. He had access to learning but ignored it. He had energy but used it in the wrong direction. Nothing changed that day externally, but something shifted internally. He stopped blaming and started observing. In the first week, he simply tracked how he spent his time. He noticed hours disappearing into distractions. He noticed how easily he avoided effort. In the second week, he made small changes. He reduced time waste. He started learning basic skills. He became more aware of his habits in. The third week, he struggled. He felt resistance. He wanted to go back to comfort, but now he could not ignore the truth. Knew exactly what was holding him back months later. His life was still not perfect, but it was moving. He had direction. He had discipline. He had control. The biggest change was not his job or his income. It was his mindset. This is where transformation always begins. With big goals, not with external success, but with honest self-awareness. Most people avoid this step because it forces them to face questions they do not want to answer. How do I really spend my time? What habits are controlling me? Where am I making excuses? What am I avoiding? These questions are powerful because once you answer them honestly, you cannot go back to ignorance. You begin to see your life clearly, and clarity creates responsibility. It becomes harder to blame others. It becomes harder to stay the same. This is why many people distract themselves, because distraction hides the truth. But if you want to change everything, in 6 months you must do the opposite. You must face reality directly. No exaggeration, no self-pity, no denial, just truth. Your current results are not random. They are earned through repetition. If your days are unstructured, your life will feel unstable. If your habits are weak, your results will be weak. If your focus is scattered, your progress will be slow. This is not punishment. This is cause and effect. Good news is simple. If your past actions created your current life, then your future actions can create a different life. This is where power comes from, not from wishing, not from waiting, but from understanding that change is built daily. A student who studies consistently improves. A worker who develops skills grows. A person who controls habits becomes disciplined. These are not special people. They are consistent people. Consistency may look small in a single day, but over time it becomes powerful. 1 hour of focused effort each day becomes hundreds of hours. One small habit repeated daily becomes a strong identity. This is how change works. Slow at first, invisible in the beginning, but undeniable in the long run. Most people quit before they reach that point. They expect fast results. They lose patience. They return to old patterns, and then they say nothing works. But the truth is, they never stayed long enough to see results. If you want your next 6 months to be different, you must accept one thing clearly. You are responsible, not in a negative way, but in a powerful way. Because if you are responsible, then you are also capable of changing your habits, capable of controlling your time, capable of building discipline. This is not easy. It will challenge you. There will be days when you feel tired. There will be moments when you want to quit. There will be times when progress feels slow, but those moments are part of the process. Growth is not comfortable. It requires effort, awareness, and persistence. The people who succeed are not those who never struggle. They are those who continue despite struggle. At the beginning of your 6-month journey, do not focus on becoming perfect. Focus on becoming aware. Notice your patterns. Notice your distractions. Notice your reactions. Awareness creates the foundation for change. Without awareness, you repeat the same mistakes. With awareness, you begin to correct them. This chapter is not about motivation. It is about truth. Because truth is stronger than motivation. Motivation fades. Truth remains. If you understand and accept this truth fully, then you are ready to move forward. Because real change does not start with excitement. It starts with responsibility. And once you take responsibility, you take control. And once you take control, your life begins to change. Chapter 2. 6 months is enough. If you are serious, 6 months may not seem like a long time, but in reality, it is more than enough to change the direction of your life. The problem is not time. The problem is how time is used. Most people do not lack time. They lack focus, discipline, and consistency. Days pass without intention. Weeks disappear without progress. Months go by without real change. Then one day they look back and wonder why nothing is different. 6 months is powerful because it is long enough to build something real. It is long enough to break patterns that have controlled you for years. It is long enough to replace bad habits with strong ones. It is long enough to create visible results. Only if you are serious. Being serious does not mean feeling motivated all the time. It means showing up even when you do not feel like it. It means choosing discipline over comfort again and again. A student once decided he wanted to improve his life. Was average in studies, unfocused in daily routine, and easily distracted. He had big goals, but no structure. Would study one day and skip the next. He would feel motivated for a few hours, and then lose focus. He kept waiting for the right mood to start. Months passed and nothing changed. Then one day he made a decision not to rely on motivation anymore, but to rely on a system. He created a simple routine: wake up at the same time every day, study for fixed hours, take short breaks, revise what he learned at first. It felt forced. He did not enjoy it. He felt tired. He wanted to go back to old habits, but he continued. After 2 weeks, something changed. The routine started to feel normal. His focus improved. His confidence increased. After 2 months, the difference was clear. He understood topics better. He wasted less time. He felt more in control. After 6 months, he was not just a better student. He was a different person, more disciplined, more focused, more consistent. What made the difference? Not intelligence, not luck, consistency. 6 months of repeated effort created results that years of random effort could not. This is the reality most people ignore. They want change without structure. They want success without discipline. But life does not work that way. Results come from repeated action. A person who goes to the gym once will not see change, but a person who trains regularly for 6 months will transform. Person who reads 1 page will not gain much, but a person who reads daily for 6 months will think differently. A person who practices a skill once will struggle, but a person who practices consistently will improve. This is the power of time used correctly. 6 months is not about doing everything at once. It is about doing the right things again and again. Many people fail because they try to change everything in one day. They create unrealistic plans. They expect instant results. They push too hard and burn out. Then they quit. This cycle repeats again and again. Real change is slower but stronger. It starts small. 1 habit, 1 routine, 1 improvement. Then it builds. The key is consistency, not perfection. You will make mistakes. You will miss days. You will lose focus at times. But what matters is returning quickly. A person who stops completely loses progress. A person who continues after mistakes keeps growing. 6 months is also enough to change your identity, not just what you do, but who you become. At the start, you may see yourself as lazy, distracted, or inconsistent, but through repeated disciplined actions, your self-image changes. You begin to see yourself as focused, as reliable, as someone who follows through. This shift is powerful because once your identity changes, your behavior follows. Naturally, you no longer force yourself as much. You act according to who you believe you are. A young worker once struggled with confidence. He avoided responsibility. He doubted his abilities. He stayed in his comfort zone. He decided to challenge himself for 6 months. Every day, he would do 1 difficult task: speak up in meetings, learn something new, take initiative at work. At first, it felt uncomfortable. He feared failure. He feared judgment. But he continued day by day. His confidence grew not because fear disappeared, but because he acted despite fear. After 6 months, he was no longer the same person. He was more confident, more capable, more respected. Change was not sudden. It was built daily. This is how 6 months works. It does not give instant results. Gives gradual transformation, and that transformation becomes permanent. If you are serious about change, you must understand one thing clearly. 6 months will pass, whether you use them or not. Time does not wait. The question is what you will do with it. You can continue with the same habits and reach the same place, or you can take control and move in a new direction. There is no middle option. Being serious means making clear decisions. What you will focus on, what you will avoid, what habits you will build. It also means accepting discomfort. You will feel resistance. You will feel tired. You will feel like quitting. But those moments are part of the process. They are not signs to stop. They are signs that you are growing. Most people stop when it becomes difficult. That is why most people stay the same if you continue. When it is difficult, you move ahead of others. Slowly but surely, 6 months of focused effort can separate you from years of average living. It can create momentum. It can build confidence. It can open new opportunities, but only if you are serious. Not sometimes, not when it is easy, but every day, even when no one is watching, even when results are not visible, because real change happens in those moments. When you choose discipline over comfort, that is where your 6 months becomes powerful. Chapter 3. Your environment is either building you or breaking you. Most people think change depends only on personal effort. They believe if they try hard enough, everything will improve. Effort is important, but there is something equally powerful that many people ignore: your environment. Your environment silently shapes your behavior, your thinking, and your results every single day. It is not just the place where you live. It is the people you spend time with, the content you consume, the conversations you engage, in the habits that surround you. All of these things influence you whether you notice it or not. Your environment is negative, distracted, and unproductive. It will slowly pull you in the same direction. If your environment is focused, disciplined, and growth-oriented, it will push you to improve. This happens naturally, without force. A young man wanted to improve his life and become more productive, made plans and set goals, but every evening he sat with friends who spent hours complaining about life. They talked about problems, but never about solutions. They blamed others, but never took responsibility. They discouraged effort and laughed at ambition. At first, he tried to stay focused. Slowly, he started adapting to that environment. He delayed his work. He lost motivation. He began to think the same way. After some time, his goals felt distant and unrealistic. Nothing had changed externally, but his mindset had shifted. One day, he realized something important. He was not lacking effort. He was surrounded by the wrong influence. He made a difficult decision. He reduced time with people who drained his energy. He stopped engaging in negative conversations. He chose to spend more time alone rather than stay in the wrong company. At the same time, he started building a better environment. He began listening to educational content. He followed people who shared knowledge and discipline. He created a quiet space where he could focus. In the beginning, it felt uncomfortable. He felt isolated. He missed familiar routines, but slowly his thinking began to change. He became more focused, more positive, more disciplined. 6 months later, his life looked different. Not because he forced himself constantly, but because his environment supported his growth. This is the power of environment. It either works for you or against you. There is no neutral state. Even small influences matter. If you wake up and immediately check distracting content, your mind becomes scattered. You start your day with purpose and clarity. Your mind becomes focused. If you spend hours with people who avoid responsibility, you begin to justify your own inaction. If you spend time with people who take action, you feel encouraged to do the same. Humans naturally adapt to their surroundings. This is why environment is so powerful. A person trying to build discipline in a distracting environment will struggle constantly. A person in a supportive environment will find it easier to stay consistent. This does not mean you must change everything overnight, but it does mean you must become aware. Look at your daily surroundings. Honestly, what kind of conversations are you part of? What kind of content do you consume? What kind of habits are around you? Ask yourself a simple question: is this environment helping me grow or keeping me stuck? If the answer is keeping you stuck, then something must change. Change does not always mean leaving everything behind. Sometimes it means reducing exposure less. Time in negative discussions. Less time on useless content. Less time with people who discourage growth. At the same time, you must add positive influences. More learning, more focus, more meaningful activities. Young woman wanted to build confidence and improve her skills, but she lived in an environment where people constantly criticized others. They focused on weaknesses. They discouraged trying new things. They avoided effort every time she tried something new. She felt judged slowly. She stopped trying, her confidence dropped. Her growth stopped, then she made a small but powerful change. She created a personal environment for growth, started reading daily. She followed educational platforms. She practiced skills in her own space even, though her external environment did not change completely. Her internal environment improved. Her thinking became stronger. Her confidence slowly returned. Over time, she became less affected by negativity around her. She built her own mental space. 6 months later, she was more skilled, more confident, and more focused. This shows an important truth. You may not control every part of your environment, but you can control what you allow to influence you, your phone, your time, your attention. These are powerful tools. You choose to watch, listen, and engage with shapes your mind. If you fill your mind with distractions, your focus weakens. If you fill your mind with growth, your thinking improves. Environment also includes physical space. A messy, disorganized space creates distraction. A clean, structured space supports focus. Even small changes can make a difference. Organizing your study area, removing unnecessary distractions, creating a place for focused work. These actions may seem simple, but they influence your behavior. Your environment is prepared for focus. It becomes easier to act when your environment is full of distractions. It becomes easier to avoid effort. Your goal in these 6 months is not to find a perfect environment. It is to create a better one. Step by step, reduce what harms you. Increase what helps you. Be intentional about what surrounds you, because over time, your environment will shape your identity, and your identity will shape your results. You stay in the wrong environment, you will keep fighting yourself. If you build the right environment, you will start moving forward naturally. This is why environment is not a small detail. It is a foundation. Your 6-month journey, it can either support your growth or silently destroy your progress. The choice is yours. Chapter 4. Discipline over motivation. Most people believe that motivation is the key to change. They wait to feel inspired. They wait to feel ready. They wait for energy to come naturally. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It rises and falls. It depends on mood, environment, and circumstances. If you depend on motivation, you will only act when it feels easy. Real change is not built in easy moments. It is built in difficult ones. This is where discipline becomes powerful. Discipline is not a feeling. It is a decision. It is the ability to act even when you do not feel like it. It is the commitment to continue even when motivation disappears. A young man once decided to get fit on. The first day he was full of motivation. He woke up early. He went for a run. He felt strong and confident. For a few days he continued. Then, one morning he woke up feeling tired. He told himself he would rest just for one day. That one day became several days. Soon he stopped completely. His motivation had disappeared. Months later he tried again. This time he changed his approach. He did not rely on how he felt. Made a simple rule: no matter what, he would show up even if the workout was short, even if his energy was low, even if he did not feel motivated. The goal was not perfection. The goal was consistency. Some days he trained hard. Some days he did very little, but he never stopped. After a few weeks, something changed. He no longer depended on motivation. His actions became automatic. After a few months, the results were clear. He was stronger, healthier, more confident. The difference was not motivation. It was discipline. This is the truth. Many people avoid motivation, can start a journey, but only discipline can finish it. When you begin your 6-month transformation, you will feel motivated, you will feel excited, you will imagine success. You will plan everything, but that feeling will not last. There will be days when you feel tired, days when you feel distracted, days when you doubt yourself. If you stop in those moments, you will never reach your goals. Discipline means continuing anyway. Student preparing for exams faces the same challenge. On some days studying feels easy, on other days it feels impossible. If the student only studies when motivated, progress will be slow and inconsistent. But if the student studies daily, regardless of mood, progress becomes steady over time. This consistency builds confidence. Confidence and creates momentum, and momentum makes the process easier. This is how discipline works. It starts as effort, then becomes habit, then becomes identity. At first you force yourself, later it becomes natural. A worker who wants to improve skills faces a similar situation. After work he feels tired, can choose comfort or growth. Watching videos requires no effort. Learning a skill requires focus. If he chooses comfort every day, nothing changes. If he chooses growth consistently, even in small amounts, everything changes over time. Discipline is not about doing extreme things, it is about doing simple things regularly. Waking up on time, completing your tasks, avoiding distractions, staying focused. These actions may seem small, but repeated daily, they create powerful results. People misunderstand discipline. They think it means being perfect, but discipline is not perfection. It is consistency. You will make mistakes. You will have days where you do less. But discipline means you do not quit. You return quickly. You continue moving forward. Another important truth is this: discipline creates freedom. At first it may feel restrictive, following a routine, limiting distractions, doing tasks on time, but over time it gives you control. You waste less time. You achieve more. You feel more confident. A person without discipline feels controlled by circumstances. A person with discipline controls their actions. This control creates freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from wasted time, freedom from feeling stuck. During your 6-month journey, you must build discipline step by step. Start with small commitments. Do not try to change everything at once. Choose a few important actions and do them daily, even when you do not feel like it. Especially when you do not feel like it, those moments matter the most, because that is when discipline is tested, and that is when it grows stronger. You must also remove the idea that you need to feel ready. You will not always feel ready. You act first, then the feeling follows. Waiting for motivation keeps you stuck. Taking action builds momentum. Momentum creates motivation. This is the correct order. Action comes first. If you understand this, you gain an advantage, because you stop depending on feelings and start depending on decisions. Young woman wanted to improve her life. She always waited for the right moment. She wanted to feel confident before starting, but that moment never came. One day she changed her approach. She stopped waiting. She started acting, even with doubt, even with fear, even without motivation. At first it felt difficult, but slowly she gained confidence, not because fear disappeared, but because she proved to herself that she could act despite it. This is what discipline does. It builds trust in yourself. You begin to believe in your ability to follow through. That belief is powerful because it affects every area of your life. In these 6 months, your success will not depend on how motivated you feel. It will depend on how disciplined you become. There will be days when everything feels easy, and there will be days when everything feels difficult. Treat both days the same. Show up, do the work, move forward, because real transformation does not happen in moments of excitement. It happens in moments of consistency, when you choose to continue again and again without depending on motivation. That is where your life begins to change. Chapter 5. Building a powerful routine. Change does not happen by chance. It happens by structure, and that structure is called a routine. A routine is not just a schedule. It is a system that guides your day without confusion. Most people fail to change their lives, not because they lack goals, but because they lack a daily system. They wake up without a clear plan. They react to situations instead of controlling them. They waste time deciding what to do. Next, this leads to inconsistency, and inconsistency leads to weak results. A routine removes this problem. It gives direction. It saves time. It reduces decision-making. It creates stability. A young man wanted to improve his life and become more productive every day. He told himself he would work hard, but his days had no structure. He woke up at different times. He worked randomly. He got distracted easily. At the end of the day, he felt busy, but achieved very little. One day, he decided to create a simple routine. Nothing complicated, just clear actions. Wake up at the same time. Start the day with a focused task. Take planned breaks. Finish important work before relaxing. First few days felt uncomfortable. He was not used to structure. He missed his flexibility, but he continued. After a week, something changed. His days felt more organized. He wasted less time. He completed more work. After a month, the difference was clear. He was more productive, more focused, less stressed. After 6 months, his routine became part of his identity. He no longer struggled to decide what to do. He simply followed his system. This is the power of a routine. It turns effort into habit. It turns confusion into clarity. It turns intention into action. Many people think routines are boring. They believe freedom means doing whatever they want, whenever they want. But this often leads to chaos. Real freedom comes from control. When your day is structured, you create space for progress. A routine does not remove flexibility. It creates a strong foundation. You can adjust it when needed, but the core remains stable. Building a powerful routine does not mean filling every hour. It means prioritizing what matters. A student who wants to succeed needs time for study. A worker who wants growth needs time for skill development. A person who wants better health needs time for physical activity. If these things are not scheduled, they are often ignored because distractions are always easier. Routine protects your priorities. It ensures that important actions happen daily. Another example is a young woman who struggled with consistency. She had goals, but no structure. Some days she worked hard. Other days she did nothing. She felt frustrated because her progress was slow. She decided to create a daily routine: morning time for learning, afternoon time for work, evening time for reflection. She also planned small breaks to avoid burnout. At first it felt strict, but soon it became natural. Her productivity improved. Her focus increased. Her results became visible. The routine did not limit her, it guided her. This is an important understanding. A routine should support you, not control you. It should be realistic. If your routine is too difficult, you will not follow it. If it is simple and consistent, you will maintain it. Start small. Choose a few key activities. Wake up at a fixed time. Set a clear start to your day. Focus on important tasks first. Do not overload your schedule. Consistency is more important than intensity. A simple routine followed daily is more powerful than a complex routine followed for a few days. Another key part of a routine is removing unnecessary distractions. If your day is filled with interruptions, your routine will fail. Limit time spent on activities that do not add value. Create blocks of focused time. Even 1 hour of deep focus can produce strong results over time. This focus builds momentum. A routine also helps in managing energy. You learn when you are most productive. You schedule important tasks in that time. You take breaks when needed. You avoid exhaustion. This balance keeps you consistent. Without a routine, many people burn out quickly. They work randomly. They rest randomly. They lose control of the routine. Everything becomes more stable. One important habit to include is reflection. At the end of the day, take a few moments to review what you completed, what you avoided, what you can improve. This awareness helps you adjust your routine and improve it over time. Routine is not fixed forever, it evolves. You grow, your routine will change, but the principle remains the same. Structure creates progress. During your 6-month journey, your routine will become your strongest tool. It will guide you on days when you feel motivated, and it will support you on days when you feel tired. It removes the need to think too much. You simply follow the plan over time. This repetition builds discipline, and discipline builds results. At the beginning, it may feel difficult. You may resist structure. You may want to return to old habits. If you continue, your routine becomes natural. It becomes part of who you are. And once that happens, change becomes easier, because you are no longer relying on random effort. You are following a system that moves you forward every single day. This is how powerful routines are built, not in one day, but through consistent practice. And in 6 months, a strong routine can completely change your life. Chapter 6: Breaking Bad Habits. Every person wants change, but most people ignore the one thing that silently controls their life: habits. Not big decisions, not rare moments, but small repeated actions. These actions become patterns. These patterns become habits. And these habits shape your life. If your habits are strong, your life moves forward. If your habits are weak, your life stays stuck. This is why breaking bad habits is not optional. It is necessary. Many people try to build new habits without removing old ones. Try to study, but keep distractions. They try to improve, but keep wasting time. They try to grow, but keep negative patterns. This creates conflict. You move forward for a short time, and you fall back again. A young man wanted to become more productive. He planned his day carefully. He set goals. He created a routine. But every time he started working, he picked up his phone just for a few minutes. Those few minutes turned into hours. At the end of the day, he felt frustrated. He believed he lacked discipline. But the real problem was not discipline. It was habit. His mind was trained to seek distraction. No matter how strong his intention was, the habit was stronger. One day he decided to focus on breaking this pattern. Instead of forcing long hours of work, he started small. He removed his phone from his workspace. He set short focus sessions. He allowed limited time for breaks. The first few days were difficult. He felt the urge to check his phone. He felt restless, but he did not give in. Slowly, the urge became weaker. His focus improved. His control increased. After a few weeks, his habit had changed. No longer needed constant distraction. This is how habits are broken, not by willpower alone, but by changing patterns. Many people think they need strong motivation to break habits, but habits are not emotional. They are automatic. You do them without thinking. That is why they are powerful. To break a bad habit, you must first become aware. Notice when it happens. Notice what triggers it. Notice how often it repeats. Awareness is the first step. Without awareness, you cannot change anything. A student who procrastinates may think the problem is laziness, but when he observes closely, he may notice a pattern. He delays work when tasks feel difficult. He avoids starting because he fears failure. This awareness changes everything. Now, the problem is clear, and once the problem is clear, it can be addressed. Breaking a habit requires replacing it, not just removing it. If you stop one behavior without replacing it, your mind returns to the old pattern. For example, if you stop using your phone during work time, you must replace it with focused activity. You stop wasting time at night, you must replace it with rest or learning. Your mind needs direction. Otherwise, it goes back to comfort. Another important factor is environment. Bad habits are easier in the wrong environment. Distractions are always present. You will struggle if negative influences surround you. You will repeat negative patterns. A young woman struggled with unhealthy habits. She wanted to improve her routine, but her environment made it difficult. Late nights, unstructured days, constant distractions. She decided to change small parts of her environment. She created a fixed sleep time. She reduced unnecessary activities. She organized her space. At first, the change felt small, But over time, it became powerful. Her habits slowly improved. Her energy increased. Her focus became stronger. This shows that habits are not just personal. They are influenced by surroundings. Another important truth is that habits take time to change. You cannot expect instant results. At first you will struggle. You will feel resistance. You will feel discomfort. You will want to return to old patterns. This is normal. It means your mind is adjusting. Most people quit at this stage. They think change is not working, but in reality, they stopped too early. If you continue, the new pattern becomes easier. The old habit becomes weaker over time. The change becomes natural. Consistency is the key, not intensity. You do not need to make extreme changes. You need to make repeated changes. Small actions done daily are more powerful than big actions done once. Another example is a worker who wanted to improve his productivity. He had a habit of delaying tasks. He would start late. He would get distracted. He would rush work at the last moment. This pattern repeated every day. He decided to change one thing: start work immediately. No delay. No waiting. At first, it felt difficult, but he forced himself to begin, even if the work was small. After a few days, it became easier. After a few weeks, it became normal. His productivity improved. His stress reduced. The habit had changed. This is how powerful small changes can be. Breaking bad habits also requires patience. You will not become perfect. You will make mistakes. You may return to old patterns sometimes, but what matters is returning quickly. Do not let one mistake become a complete failure. Continue the process. Each time you return, you become stronger. Over time, your control increases. Your awareness improves and your habits change. During your 6-month journey, this step is critical because your results depend on your habits, not on your intentions. If your habits improve, your life improves. If your habits remain the same, your life remains the same. Focus on one habit at a time. Do not try to change everything together. Choose the habit that affects your life the most. Work on it daily. Be patient. Be consistent. Be aware. In 6 months, you can break patterns that have controlled you for years, but only if you face them directly, not by ignoring them, not by avoiding them, but by understanding them and replacing them. This is how real change happens: slowly, repeatedly, powerfully. And once your habits change, your life follows. Chapter 7: Skill Building and Income Growth. At some point in your 6-month journey, you will realize something important: changing your mindset and habits is powerful, but it must lead to practical results. One of the most important results is growth in your skills, and through skills comes income growth. Many people want more money, but very few focus on becoming more valuable. Money is not given randomly. It is earned through value. The more value you can provide, the more opportunities you create. This is where skill building becomes essentially. Skill is something you can do that solves a problem or creates value for others. It can be technical. It can be creative. It can be practical. But it must be useful. A young man once complained that he was not earning enough. He worked long hours, but his income remained the same. He believed his job was the problem. But when he looked deeper, he realized something. He was doing the same work he had learned years ago. He had not improved his skills. He had not adapted. He had not grown, so his value remained the same, and so did his income. He decided to change this. Instead of only working, he started learning. Every day he spent time developing a new skill related to his field. At first, progress was slow. He did not understand everything. He made mistakes. He felt frustrated. But he continued. After a few months, his knowledge improved. His confidence increased. His abilities became stronger. Soon, he started getting better opportunities, higher pay, more responsibility, more respect. What changed? Not his job at the beginning, but his skills. This is a key truth. If you want your life to improve financially, you must improve your skills, create opportunities. Without skills, you remain limited. With skills, you expand your options. Many people spend hours on activities that do not add value. Scrolling watching random content, talking without purpose. Imagine if even a small part of that time was used for learning. 6 months of consistent learning can create a strong foundation. You may not become an expert immediately, but you will move ahead of most people, because most people do not stay consistent. A student who learns a useful skill alongside studies gains an advantage. A worker who improves abilities becomes more valuable. A person who develops multiple skills becomes adaptable. Adaptability is important in a changing world. Another example is a young woman who wanted financial independence. She had limited resources and no clear direction. Instead of waiting for opportunities, she decided to create them. She started learning a digital skill. At first, it was confusing. She did not have guidance. She struggled to understand, but she continued daily. She practiced. She improved. She learned from mistakes. After a few months, she started doing small projects. The income was not high, but it was a start. Over time, her skills improved. Her confidence grew. Her income increased. 6 months later, she was not fully successful, but she was no longer dependent. She had created a path. This is the power of skill building. It gives you control over your growth, control over your opportunities, control over your future. Another important aspect is focus. Do not try to learn everything at once. Choose 1 or 2 skills that are valuable and relevant. Stay consistent with them. Depth is more important than random knowledge. A person who knows one skill well is more valuable than someone who knows many things poorly. Skill building also requires practice. Not just learning. Watching and reading are useful, but action is necessary. You must apply what you learn, make mistakes, improve, try again. This is how real learning happens. Another challenge people face is impatience. They expect quick results. They want income immediately, but skills take time to develop. The first phase is learning. The second phase is practice. The third phase is results. If you stop in the first phase, you never reach the third. Patience and consistency are essential. During your 6 months, you should treat skill building as a daily habit. Even 1 hour of focused learning can create strong progress. Over time, this adds up. 30 hours a month, 180 hours in 6 months. That is enough to create a solid foundation. Another example is a worker who wanted to grow in his career. He realized his current skills were basic. Instead of complaining, he took action. He started learning after work, even when he was tired, even when he did not feel like it. At first, it was difficult, but slowly it became a habit. After a few months, his abilities improved. He became more efficient, more knowledgeable, more confident. His work quality increased. Soon he was noticed. He received better opportunities. This shows a simple truth. Effort invested in skill building always returns results. Maybe not immediately, but eventually. One more important point is mindset. Do not think of learning as a burden. Think of it as an investment. Every skill you build adds to your value, and that value stays with you. Jobs can change, situations can change, but your skills remain. They become your strength. In your 6-month journey, skill building should be a priority, but something you do daily. It does not require perfect conditions. It requires commitment, even in small steps. Keep moving forward, because 6 months of focused learning can open doors you never imagined. It can create opportunities where none existed. It can change not just your income, but your confidence and direction. This is how real growth happens, from within. Through effort, through learning, through consistent action. And once you build valuable skills, your life begins to move in a new direction. Chapter 8. Mental strength and consistency. It is also about your mind. Your mind is the foundation of everything you do. Without mental strength, even the best plans fail. Consistency requires mental resilience. Because the journey will not be easy. You will face challenges. You will face distractions. You will face doubts. You will face fear. These are natural. Most people give up at the first sign of difficulty. They feel overwhelmed. They feel unmotivated. They convince themselves it is too hard. But mental strength allows you to keep going. It allows you to continue when nothing feels right. A young woman wanted to improve her life. She created routines and worked on skills. But after a few weeks, she felt tired and discouraged. She compared herself to others. She thought progress was too slow. She wanted to quit. At that moment, she made a choice to continue anyway. Not because she felt strong, but because she decided to act regardless. She reminded herself that growth is uncomfortable, that struggle is part of the process, that every small effort counts. Day by day, she built mental strength. Each time she continued despite discomfort, her confidence grew, her resilience increased. Mental strength is built through repeated effort. It is about acting despite fear. It is not about feeling motivated. It is about showing up. Consistency is the companion of mental strength. When you act consistently, you build trust in yourself. You learn that you can rely on your own effort. A student preparing for exams may feel tired or distracted. The temptation to procrastinate is always there. But mental strength allows them to push through. Even small amounts of work done consistently create results. The power of consistency lies in repetition. Small actions repeated over time produce exponential results. A young man wanted to start a business. He faced many obstacles: financial limitations, lack of experience, fear of failure. He could have quit many times. But he chose consistency. Every day he took one action toward his goal. He learned something new. He contacted potential clients. He improved his product. Some days were discouraging. Some days were slow. But over time, the results accumulated. 6 months later, his efforts produced noticeable progress. His business was not perfect, but it existed and was growing. Mental strength is what allows you to continue in these moments. It is developed through discomfort. Every time you act despite resistance, every time you continue despite fatigue, every time you do what is difficult, you strengthen your mind. Another important aspect is managing your thoughts. Negative thoughts are natural. Self-doubt is normal. Fear is inevitable. But if you allow these thoughts to control you, they become obstacles. Mental strength is learning to observe thoughts without surrendering to them. You acknowledge doubt, you feel fear, but you act anyway. This is what separates people who change from those who remain the same. Consistency also reduces the power of fear. Each time you continue despite difficulty, fear becomes smaller. Confidence grows, momentum builds. A person who acts consistently is unstoppable. Even when circumstances are challenging, even when motivation is gone, even when progress seems slow. Another way to build mental strength is reflection. At the end of each day, review what you accomplished. Notice challenges you faced. Notice moments when you continued despite. This reinforces the belief in yourself. It strengthens your commitment. It prepares you for the next day. A strong mind also adapts to setbacks. You will make mistakes. You will fail sometimes. You will face unexpected difficulties. Mental strength allows you to recover quickly, to learn from mistakes, to continue without losing confidence. Consistency without mental strength is fragile. Mental strength without consistency produces little result. Together, they create unstoppable progress. During your 6-month journey, prioritize building mental strength. Take small actions every day. Face discomfort instead of avoiding it. Accept challenges as part of growth. Reflect on your progress. Learn from mistakes. Stay committed to your routine and goals. 6 months of mental strength and consistency can transform your ability to act. You will become someone who does not give up easily. Someone who persists even when conditions are difficult. Someone who moves forward daily, regardless of circumstances. This combination of mental resilience and repeated action is what allows you to truly change everything in 6 months. Chapter 9. The Power of Reflection and Adjustment. As you move through your 6-month journey, it is easy to get caught up in action. You focus on routines, skills, and habits. You push yourself to stay consistent and disciplined. But there is one step that many people overlook: reflection. Without reflection, action can become blind effort. You may work hard and feel busy, but if your actions are not aligned with your goals, your effort may produce little meaningful change. Reflection is the process of examining what you are doing, how you are doing it, and why you are doing it. It allows you to see what is working, what is not working, and what needs adjustment. A young man decided to improve his life in 6 months. He created routines. He built habits. He worked on skills. He stayed disciplined. After a month, he felt progress was slow. He felt frustrated. Instead of continuing blindly, he took time to reflect. He asked himself questions. Which actions are producing results? Which habits are holding me back? Am I spending time on what matters most? What can I improve? Through reflection, he realized that some parts of his routine were inefficient. He was spending too much time on minor tasks. He was neglecting key skills. He was distracted by small habits. Once he identified these issues, he adjusted his plan. He focused more on important work. He removed unnecessary distractions. He optimized his routine. The results improved dramatically. Reflection allows you to correct course. It prevents wasted effort. It accelerates progress. It also strengthens awareness. When you reflect regularly, you understand yourself better. You notice patterns of behavior. You notice strengths and weaknesses. You notice when you are resisting change. This awareness becomes a tool for growth. Another important aspect of reflection is honesty. You must be honest with yourself. It is easy to justify mistakes. It is easy to ignore failures. It is easy to blame circumstances. But reflection is powerful only when it is truthful. A student preparing for exams reflected daily. He did not make excuses. He did not blame distractions. He noted exactly how he spent time. He analyzed where he procrastinated. He adjusted his schedule accordingly. After a few weeks, he became more efficient. His study sessions became focused. He completed more work. His confidence improved. Reflection also helps in long-term planning. 6 months is enough to create meaningful change. But without adjustment, you may not use this time optimally. Regular reflection allows you to align daily actions with long-term goals. You see what truly matters. You see what moves you forward. You discard what wastes time. Another key point is learning from mistakes. Mistakes are inevitable. You will fail at times. You will stray from your routine. You will break habits. Reflection allows you to examine these mistakes, understand why they happened, and plan to avoid repeating them. This turns failure into a learning tool. It prevents stagnation. It accelerates growth. A young woman working on her skills reflected weekly. She noticed that she was wasting energy on minor tasks. She changed her approach. She focused on high-impact actions. Her progress accelerated. Reflection also reinforces mental strength. When you look back and see what you have accomplished, even small achievements, you gain confidence. You build trust in yourself. You strengthen your commitment. Without reflection, your mind forgets progress. You underestimate your abilities. You feel discouraged. Reflection provides clarity. Clarity creates focus. Focus creates results. Another important point is flexibility. Plans and routines are important, but rigidly following a plan without adjustment can be counterproductive. Reflection allows flexibility without losing direction. You can adjust routines. You can improve habits. You can shift priorities. You can respond to challenges effectively. During your 6-month journey, set aside time for reflection. Daily or weekly reflection is ideal. Ask yourself questions. What went? What could be improved? Am I moving toward my goals? Am I wasting time or energy? What adjustments are needed? Answer honestly. Then take action. Reflection without action is pointless. Action without reflection is blind. Together, they create powerful growth. 6 months of consistent reflection and adjustment can dramatically accelerate change. It ensures that your effort is aligned with results, that your habits are effective, that your routines serve your goals, that your skills are improving, that your mental strength is growing. Without this step, change is slower, progress may be partial. Opportunities may be missed. With reflection, your journey becomes intentional, your actions become strategic, your growth becomes exponential. This is the key to maximizing 6 months. Not just doing, but thinking about what you do, not just moving, but steering your movement. Reflection and adjustment are the compass of transformation. They ensure that every day counts, every effort matters. Every step moves you closer to changing everything in your life. Chapter 10. Overcoming fear and doubt. Fear and doubt are the silent enemies of change. They appear in subtle ways. They whisper that you are not ready. They convince you that you will fail. They tell you to wait for the perfect moment. Most people surrender to these feelings without realizing it. Fear is natural, doubt is normal. They exist because you are stepping out of comfort to, are attempting something unfamiliar, you are growing. But surrendering to them ensures one thing: stagnation. A young man decided to start a business. He had a clear plan and skills to execute, but every time he considered taking action, fear would creep in. What if I fail? What if I lose money? What if people judge me? He procrastinated for weeks, doubt paralyzed. The fear would never disappear completely. Waiting for courage to come naturally meant waiting forever. He needed a different approach. Instead of waiting for fear to vanish, chose to act despite it. He committed to one small action each day, making a call, researching the market, learning one new thing. At first, he felt anxious, his mind resisted. He wanted to quit, but he continued. Every day he faced fear in small doses. Over time, something changed. The fear became smaller. His confidence grew, his actions became easier, momentum built. This is the key truth about fear. It is not eliminated, it is managed. It is confronted, it is acted through. Doubt works similarly. It is the voice of uncertainty. It questions your abilities. It compares you to others. Ignoring doubt does not help. Suppressing it only delays action. The way to overcome doubt is to prove yourself through action. Every small step you take builds evidence. Evidence that you are capable, evidence that you can learn, evidence that you can grow. A student who doubts their ability to succeed in exams can overcome it through action. Studying consistently, completing assignments, testing themselves regularly. Each small achievement weakens doubt. Each consistent effort builds confidence. Another powerful strategy is preparation. Fear often comes from uncertainty. The more prepared you are, the more knowledge you have, the more practice you take, the easier it becomes to act. A young woman wanted to switch. She was afraid of starting over. She doubted her skills. She feared judgment. She created a plan. She learned the necessary skills. She practiced daily. She applied for small projects first. Preparation reduced uncertainty. Action built confidence. Fear diminished gradually. Another important factor is mindset. View fear and doubt as signals rather than obstacles. They indicate growth. They indicate that you are stepping out of comfort. They indicate that you are attempting something meaningful. Do not avoid them. Do not ignore them. Face them with action. During your 6-month journey, you will encounter fear and doubt daily. Some days it will feel overwhelming. Some days it will feel paralyzing. This is normal. The difference is how you respond. Take small, consistent actions. Reflect on progress. Celebrate small wins. Keep moving forward. Momentum is a powerful antidote to fear and doubt. Once you see results, once you feel progress, fear loses its grip. Doubt loses its power. Another strategy is support. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth, who have faced similar fears, who provide guidance. Their experience and encouragement reduce the intensity of fear. Their example shows that success is possible. But the ultimate responsibility is yours. You must act. You must face fear directly. 6 months is enough to significantly reduce fear and doubt. But only if you confront them consistently. If you avoid them, if you wait for courage to arrive, you will remain stuck. Fear and doubt are natural companions, but they are not insurmountable. Action, preparation, reflection, and support make them manageable. Over time, fear becomes a teacher rather than a barrier. Doubt becomes a guide rather than a cage. By the end of your 6-month journey, you will not be fearless, but you will be capable of moving forward despite fear. You will not be certain about everything, but you will act confidently in uncertainty. This is the power of facing fear and doubt. It allows you to take control of your life. It allows you to transform intention into action. It allows you to create results despite discomfort. And this is essential if you want to truly change everything. Chapter 11, Leveraging. It is built in small wins. Small wins are the daily actions that accumulate over time. They are the victories you often overlook. Completing a task on time, sticking to a habit for a week, finishing a study session, making one sales call, resisting a distraction. Each small win is a building block. They do not seem like much in isolation, but together they create momentum. A young woman wanted to improve her health. At first she struggled with exercise and diet. She started small, 10 minutes of walking, replacing sugary drinks with water, stretching every morning. These actions felt insignificant at first, but she tracked them. She celebrated consistency. She recognized each small win. After a month, she was walking longer. Her energy improved. Her confidence increased. Each small win reinforced her habits. It motivated her to continue. This is the key power of small wins. They create motivation naturally. Motivation is fleeting when you rely on feelings, but it grows when you see progress. Small wins also reduce overwhelm. Many people fail because they focus only on big goals. Lose 50 pounds, start a successful business, write a book. These goals feel massive. They create fear and doubt. They lead to procrastination. Small wins break the process into manageable steps. Lose 1 pound this week. Complete one small task today. Write 500 words. Each achievement feels doable. Each achievement builds confidence. A young man wanted to start a side hustle. He planned a huge project immediately. He got discouraged. He felt overwhelmed. He nearly quit. Then he shifted focus. One small task per day. Research one idea. Contact one potential client. Learn one skill. Each small win created progress. Each small win reinforced commitment. After a few weeks, he had real results. not because of sudden genius, but because of consistent small wins. Another advantage is psychological. Small wins create a sense of control. You feel capable. You feel competent. You feel that you can influence your life. This feeling strengthens mental resilience. It reinforces discipline. It reduces fear and doubt. Small wins also compound. One action leads to another. One habit leads to another. One achievement motivates the next. This is why 6 months of small, consistent actions can create massive transformation. It is not about doing everything at once. Every small win is a step forward. Track them. Celebrate them. Learn from them. A simple journal or checklist is enough. Seeing daily progress reinforces commitment. It shows that effort matters. It builds momentum that fuels larger achievements. Another example is a student preparing for exams, completing one chapter, mastering one concept, finishing one assignment. These are small wins. Each reinforces the next. Each builds confidence and knowledge. After months, the cumulative effect is huge. Small wins also teach patience. You learn that change is gradual. You learn that repeated effort matters more than intensity. You learn that results are built over time. During your 6-month journey, focus on small wins. Identify actions that move you toward your goal. Do them consistently. Track them. Celebrate them. Each small win reinforces progress. Each small win strengthens habits. Each small win builds momentum. Over 6 months, these wins accumulate. They turn effort, they turn intention into action. They turn a person who struggles into a person who achieves. Never underestimate the power of small wins. They are the hidden engine of transformation. They create confidence. They create momentum. They create change. And when you look back at the end of 6 months, you will realize that these small wins added up to a completely new life. Chapter 12. Maintaining progress dramatically. Habits improve. Skills grow. Confidence increases. Your environment becomes supportive. Fear and doubt are managed. Momentum builds. But the journey does not end at 6 months. Change is not temporary. It is permanent only when maintained. Many people experience transformation for a short period. They follow routines. They develop habits. They push themselves. Then circumstances shift. Motivation fades. Challenges appear. Without a plan to maintain progress, old patterns can return. Results can slip away. Effort may be wasted. Maintenance is a deliberate choice. It is the decision to continue building on what you achieved. A young man who transformed his fitness in 6 months faced this challenge. He had built strength. He had disciplined habits. But once initial goals were reached, he felt satisfied. He relaxed his routine. He stopped tracking habits carefully. Gradually, his old habits returned. His energy decreased. His results slipped. He realized that transformation is not a single effort. It is ongoing effort. Maintenance requires reflection and adjustment. You must review your progress regularly. Notice what continues to serve you. Notice what begins to hinder you. Adjust routines, habits, and priorities as life changes. Another crucial aspect is goal evolution. 6 months is enough to build a foundation. But your life does not stop there. Your goals should evolve. As you grow, your priorities shift. Your ambitions expand. A student who developed discipline and learning habits in 6 months can set new academic or career goals. A professional who learned skills and improved productivity can set new targets for growth and income. A person who improved health and fitness can aim for new strength, endurance, or lifestyle goals. It is active management of progress. It includes consistent habits, ongoing skill development, regular reflection, facing new challenges, managing fear and doubt. Another key factor is mindset. Transformation is not temporary luck. It is the result of deliberate action over time. When maintaining progress, mindset shifts from I hope to improve to I act to improve. You take responsibility for your life every day. Momentum plays a role in maintenance. Once habits are solid, skills are developed, routines are established, momentum carries you forward. But you must reinforce it. Even small daily actions ensure momentum does not slow. A young woman who changed her career in 6 months maintained progress by scheduling daily learning, networking, and skill application. She did not rely on motivation. She relied on systems, habits, and reflection. This ensured that her progress continued. Maintenance also requires resilience. Life is unpredictable. Challenges will come. Distractions will appear. Motivation may fade. But if mental strength, discipline, and small wins are your foundation, you can navigate obstacles without losing control. Another important point is celebrating progress. Do not wait until final outcomes to acknowledge success. Recognize your growth. Recognize the habits you have built. Recognize the skills you have gained. Recognize the mindset you have developed. Celebrating progress reinforces habits, builds confidence, sustains momentum. 6 months is only the beginning. The true transformation is lifelong. Maintaining progress ensures that change is permanent, not temporary. It turns action into identity. It turns a short-term experiment into a lifetime of growth. If you continue the practices, the reflection, the discipline, and the small wins, you will not just change in 6 months. You will create a life that continues improving year after year. Transformation does not end at 6 months. It is sustained by commitment, awareness, and action. And with this approach, you are no longer chasing change. You are living it. You are becoming the person you imagined. And that is the ultimate power, transforming your life in 6 months. Change is not mysterious or magical. It is deliberate. It is consistent. It is structured. It is intentional. Over the course of these 12 chapters, we have explored the foundation of transformation. You have learned that change begins with awareness of yourself and your environment. You have seen how habits, routines, discipline, and mental strength are the pillars that support growth. You have discovered the power of small wins, skill development, reflection, and facing fear and doubt. And you have understood that maintaining progress is essential for permanent transformation. 6 months is not a long time, yet it is long enough to create a profound shift in your life. If you commit fully, if you take action consistently, if you build supportive habits and routines, if you strengthen your mind, if you leverage small wins, if you reflect and adjust, if you face fear and doubt, if you grow skills and value, you can achieve more in 6 months than many people achieve in years. The key is action. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Do not wait to feel ready. Start today. Start now. Small steps repeated daily compound into massive results. Challenges will come. Fear will appear. Doubt will whisper. But every time you act despite discomfort, every time you continue despite obstacles, you strengthen your identity. You reinforce your habits. You move closer to the life you desire. 6 months is a journey. It is a test of patience, discipline, and persistence. It is a chance to prove to yourself that change is possible. And when you look back after 6 months, you will not recognize the person you were at the beginning. You will have new habits, new skills, new confidence, new routines, a stronger mindset, and a life moving steadily toward your goals. Transformation is not, it is about progress. It is about consistency. It is about the courage to take action every day. If you commit fully to these principles and apply them with patience and persistence, 6 months from now, your life will be different. Your mindset will be stronger. Your abilities will be greater. Your opportunities will be wider. This is not a promise of luck. It is the reality of deliberate action. You have the tools. You have the guidance. You have the plan. The only question remaining is simple. Will you take the first step? Will you show up every day for the next 6 months? Will you create the life you have imagined? Because the truth is simple. 6 months is enough. And everything can change if you commit. Start now. Act consistently. And transform your life from the inside out the end.